Make a comeback to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Our idiom to go along with our annual challenge, where we're talking about a paradox every day, is to make a comeback. The paradox we're discussing is the more you fail, the more likely you are to succeed. Now, I don't know about you, but this has definitely been true in my life. And when I discovered that failure isn't fatal, it isn't final, it's just a stepping stone and part of the overall process to getting whatever it is that we want, I didn't look at failure the same way ever again. And you know, as kids, we don't look at failure as final. We all learn to walk for the most part. We all learn to talk and communicate. We all learn to eat and do all kinds of things like tie our shoes. And we didn't just say, oh, this is too hard. I've fallen down hundreds of times or 1,000 times. I'm just not going to walk. Walking's not for me. Tying my shoes isn't for me. I'm just going to wear slip-ons for the rest of my life. We don't do that. We realize that anything we want to do is going to take attempts. It's going to take us trying to do it, practicing doing it, maybe thousands and thousands of times before we actually achieve and succeed at what we want. So make a comeback, to me, ties into this. It became popular. It's been around since about the 1900s. It's an American expression. But to make a comeback, F. Scott Fitzgerald used it in 1920 in his work, This Side of Paradise. And he said something to the effect, with a little effort, you could still stage a comeback. And making a comeback, staging a comeback, a lot of times we think of famous people, movie stars, famous athletes that have made a comeback. You know, I think of Angela Lansbury, dating myself, in Murder, She Wrote. She was a very successful actress, then she disappeared for a while, then she came back and was even more popular than ever in the Murder, She Wrote series. John Travolta, remember Saturday Night Live and those cowboy movies he made? And then he too disappeared for a while and came back in bigger and better than he'd ever been before. Robert Downey Jr., I remember him, loved him in things like Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree, which probably most people haven't seen, but that was one of my favorite childhood books, Christmas stories. And so when that became a movie, I loved him in that. Again, he disappeared, had some problems for a while, and came back as Iron Man and has been bigger and better than ever. Johnny Depp just made a comeback recently. It happens all the time, and we notice it in famous people because they get a lot of publicity when they make a successful comeback. Some people try to stage a comeback and it doesn't quite work out for them. We usually don't hear about them. Just like in business, we hear about success stories in business when people make a great comeback after a failure. Generally in business, it's a bankruptcy or some kind of a failed business. Love him, hate him, nowhere in the middle. Donald Trump is a great example of that. He lost and filed bankruptcy, lost billions of dollars, and then came back, made billions of dollars, became president of the United States. Whether you like him or not, he did those things and has achieved great things, and that's a great example of a comeback. Every business owner, every business person that you actually talk to, not just look at their marketing rag to riches story, you will find that they didn't just immediately wake up and were a billionaire, unless of course they were born into a billionaire family. They had to do a bunch of things, try a bunch of things that didn't work. You could call those failures, or you could call them iterations or attempts or tries at something before they actually achieve what they would call, and it's different for each of us, success. It requires that we step out of our comfort zone and that we do things that we've seen other people do, because guess what? Just about anything we can imagine that we want to do, someone else has probably already done that. And if someone else has done it, that's absolute proof that we can do it too. It's why kids learn to walk. It's why children learn to talk. It's why we learn how to do anything. Usually we model and see someone else doing it, and then that gives us the confidence to know that, yep, we're going to have to figure out our own exact path and journey. Again, it's not going to be that straight line from A to Z. It's probably going to be up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, until we finally get to what we want. So love to know your experience with this particular idiom or expression, make a comeback. I would say personally, if I look at my journey, I failed a lot more times than I've ever succeeded. And I think I've had some successes and wins along the way, but I know I will continue to fail or just take stepping stones on my journey in the future to achieve what I ultimately want for my life. And that's why I do an annual challenge, to continually improve and grow and be a little bit better every day than I was before. So share in the comments below your experience with making a comeback, or who's your favorite comeback story. Avril, I know you've got some of these. Anyway, have an awesome day, everyone, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye.